We're going to start out with future of the SEC. Our buddy Cookie suggested this. He wanted us to do a video on this, talking about how the conference is expanding and Texas and Oklahoma joining, so we're going to talk about that. Future of the SEC. In my mind, I think the best possible avenue to go would be to go into a pod system where you have 4 different pods, north, east, south, and west. And I have a list of what I think the pods would be. You can give me any kind of feedback on what you think it should be or what should change, and we'll go from there. So this is based on geographically and trying to level out the playing field. And the north, I don't really know how to balance it. So just give me your feedback. We'll go through all of them, and then we'll try to figure out how we can balance the league out. North, I have Arkansas, Vandy, Kentucky, Missouri. And I like the East is next, and it's stacked. Like, it has 2 powerhouses in one side, and I'd like to be able to split them up and have 1 powerhouse in each. The East, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee. They have Georgia and Florida in the same division, and Tennessee and South Carolina. Arkansas, Vandy. Arkansas could be the new powerhouse for that North division, even though they're not a powerhouse. I mean, they could turn into one.
Yet.
Arkansas, Vandy, Kentucky, Missouri, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee. Then in the South, Alabama, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Auburn. And then West, Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, LSU. That West division is the division that makes the most sense to me. Texas, Oklahoma, A&M, and LSU. And that's 4 good teams. I mean, you could balance it out better.
Yeah, you could do I like the idea of the pod system, because then there's 4 divisions like the NFL is. But then you come into you would have to change the SEC championship into playoffs.
You'd have a winner from each division, and you would play in a tournament style.
Yeah, it would be a playoff bracket.
1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3. So there'd be you'd have your own ranking system inside the SEC.
But if you avoid that and you do what I was thinking you could just draw a line, honestly, sort of at the bottom of Tennessee. Then you'd have North and South. Then you'd have Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Vandy, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina. And then Ole Miss could be included in that too, so that it stays even. And then you'd have Texas, A&M, Texas A&M, LSU, Miss State, Bama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida. Which that South stacked, but
I don't know how they're going to do it.
I don't know.
I have no idea. I do know that it's been not confirmed by anybody reliable, but people that have sources, it's been pretty much out there that they've put together a schedule for next year. Like what it would look like if Oklahoma and Texas paid off their contracts and came early. They already have a schedule lined out, and I think you would play each one of your teams in your division, and then you would have 2 crossovers as far as conference schedule. So we'll see. And the next question on this topic, will more teams come? Texas and Oklahoma's already confirmed how many more teams join. That will change it from 16 to more.
Yeah, I think at that point, though, it would go into... It'd spill more into, like, a national thing. And you would have SEC, and then you'd have Big 12, and they'd all be really big, way more teams than they have now conference. Like maybe 4 conferences nationally.
Do away with the NCAA and just have a power conference.
Yeah, just have like 4 conferences, like 4 quadrants in the United States. And
I could see that.
Conferences.
I could see that, and I think the end of the NCAA is coming sooner or later. But if I mean, we're going to move on from this, but I named off a couple teams I would like to see if they'd add more. Mine will be Clemson, FSU, which those two have already been rumored that they're talking to them too. Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, West Virginia. I think West Virginia, I've always thought that West Virginia and Virginia Tech should be in the SEC. Geographically, it makes sense. The way their fan base treats football, it makes sense. It makes sense altogether. But we're going to move on.